My name is Jacob McLaren. I'm a senior consultant here with Plan Writers. And so prior to joining Plan Writers, I did own and operate an information technology company. And during that time, I successfully traveled the United States, Canada, raising several $100,000 in funding through business plan competitions, pitch competitions, and even some equity investments. So naturally, after exiting the startup world, found myself gravitating to Plan Writers to help our clients do the very same thing. So, and as Matt mentioned, I'm going to be talking a little bit about pitch decks. Of course, it's another very valuable tool and necessary tool when fundraising. So a pitch deck in its essence is a concise presentation created by an entrepreneur, typically seeking capital from an investor specifically. So why is a pitch deck so important in fundraising? Well, it's often the first impression an investor gets of your company. So a well-crafted pitch deck is going to grab their attention and it's going to start the conversation, whereas a bad pitch deck is going to kill the deal and end that conversation far too early. So what makes a good pitch? We've got 6 important pieces of feedback to definitely keep in mind when drafting your pitch deck. So first and foremost, it needs to tell a story. Your story is tantamount to setting the stage for why your business exists in the first place. So simply put, if you were to quiz the investor after the pitch, they should be able to concisely answer 3 questions: who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. Secondly, data is, of course, very important. And I've seen a lot of questions in the chat about data we can address kind of towards the end. But as Matt mentioned earlier, emotions are remembered. So don't forget that decisions are made emotionally, but they're justified rationally. And then another point we can't stress enough is that your pitch deck is just a taste of the business and the plan. And always remember, the primary purpose for a pitch deck is to start a conversation. And so when you try to shove all the information into it, you typically end up leaving an investor in a state of information overload rather than in a state of interest and wanting to know more. The next 2 points here, incredibly simple pieces of advice, but again, they shouldn't be overlooked. As a general rule of thumb, keep fonts large when possible, and don't forget to use dramatic headers. We see too many decks that kind of come across our desk with the by the book headers that say the problem, the solution, and the market. And unfortunately, that's just a wasted, excuse me, a wasted opportunity to insert more information that actually adds value to the slide. And my last point here, and piece of advice, would be learn how to activate the croc brain. And I'm going to let Matt talk a little bit more about that later in the details. But as a good piece of advice to activate the croc brain and to kind of bring down the investor's barrier would be to summarize your pitch up front so that they can ensure, you can ensure that throughout the pitch they're engaged with the information at hand.